Losing his seventh cabinet member since June. Burgum announced yesterday that Chief Information Officer Sean Riley is resigning. Riley is set to join BitZero International as its new CEO of American Operations. Concordia College is one of 12 private colleges and universities in Minnesota, now offering a transfer admission guarantee to community college students who meet certain eligibility requirements.
Concordia is very pleased to be one of the 12 that is part of this program. So students will be able to join us.
Concordia College Provost Dr. Susan Larson says those who wish to transfer must first complete associate degrees and maintain certain minimum GPAs depending on the school transferred to. The driver of a semi-truck was hurt in a crash with a train near Harvey, North Dakota. Troopers say 65-year-old Rodney Lund of Anna Moose failed to come to a complete stop at a marked railroad intersection and was struck by a train. He suffered serious injuries and was airlifted to Sanford and Bismarck. Charges against him are pending. I'm Tom Tucker with The Flag and AM1100theflag.com. First with news when you need to know.
Been looking for a golf cart for the lake, cabin, or the course? Largest selection of Club Car Onward golf carts within 150 miles is available at All Season Motorsports. 0% financing. That's 0% financing for up to 36 months on 2022 and 23 Club Car golf carts. All inventory must go. Largest selection of club cars at 0% financing. All Season Motorsports off I-94 and Cheyenne Street, West Fargo. Hurry before they're gone.
The former president faces a new subpoena. Lisa Brady, Fox News. It's coming from the House panel investigating last year's Capitol riot.
The Select Committee voted unanimously to subpoena former President Trump.
He is the one person at the center of the story of what happened on January 6th.
Committee Chair, Democrat Benny Thompson, says the subpoena is also about accountability.
He's required to answer to those police officers who put their lives and bodies on the line to defend our democracy.
There is not much precedent for a congressional panel to seek testimony of a former president, and a challenge to the subpoena could take months, outlasting the committee itself, which ends its work at the end of the year.
Fox's Jared Halpern on the Hill. Trump calls the committee a total bust, saying in a Truth Social post, why didn't they issue a subpoena months ago? A Trump spokesman also noting it's just 26 days to the midterm elections, accusing Democrats of partisan theatrics instead of making life better for Americans. Some of the victims' parents furious with the Florida jury that recommended life in prison instead of execution for the gunman in a high school massacre.
A jury in Fort Lauderdale refuses to send Nicholas Cruz to death row, recommending life without parole for killing 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida in 2018. Parents of victims left the courtroom stunned. Tony Montalto's daughter was killed.
This shooter did not deserve compassion. Did he show the compassion to Gina when he put the weapon against her chest and chose to pull that trigger?
The jury paperwork says at least one of the jurors felt mitigating factors outweighed aggravating factors. Cruz's lawyers argued mental illness should spare his life.
Fox's Eben Brown. The sentencing hearing, which can include victim impact statements, is set for November 1st. America is listening to Fox News.
Yes, missed you this morning. Kim told me you weren't feeling well, so I'm just doing a self-care check.
Oh, thank you, friend.
How you doing?
Girl, listen, my energy was so low because I didn't eat breakfast when I got up, so I had to miss virtual yoga with y'all.
Trust me, I understand.
But I'm doing much better now that I've eaten, so I'm back on track.
Great. In that case, let's get some steps in tonight. I'll come over and we can walk around the lake.
Sounds good. Appreciate you being in my business, too. Now, let me get in yours. Did you check your blood pressure today?
I did that and my squats, okay?
Okay.
High blood pressure is not going to be my friend if I can help it. See you at 6?
Let's get it. See you then.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Check in on one another and be a part of a healthy blood pressure movement. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
Mostly cloudy and blustery for this evening. We're looking at temperatures remaining in the 40s and then slowly sliding off into the 30s. Overnight, we'll see snow showers developing, moving in from the north as we drop down to a low near 30. Northwest winds around 10 to 20. And those snow showers continue into Friday with highs into the low to mid 40s. As we head into the weekend, we should dry things out, but still chilly with highs only in the 40s. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
Today's weather is brought to you by Summit Carbon Solutions. The ethanol industry is critical for the North Dakota economy and our farmers. Summit Carbon Solutions is opening new economic opportunities for ethanol producers and helping maintain a strong market for corn growers while generating millions of dollars in new property taxes to help local communities support our schools and hospitals. Visit summitcarbonsolutions.com to learn how this project is driving the future of agriculture in North Dakota.
Live from the PetroServe USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
We start today with some very just kind of strange breaking news, something that was going on within school districts throughout the day. My phone was blowing up. We'll explain more of that in just a moment. Also, today we are going to celebrate the power of you. Are you tired of winning yet? The Mama Bears are winning. I'm going to explain. It is a big, big win just to show you the power of you and your voice and what can happen when you take a stand, speak up and speak out and make a tremendous difference and impact within our community. Some really, really great stuff there. So as always, thank you so much for reaching out to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free and tell us what you are doing to take a stand for righteousness. We've talked about it here before. Like, what do we need to do to make righteousness cool again? We are going to do this on this show one way or another, and we'll explain here in a moment. Let's start with some of this breaking news. So earlier today, my phone just starts blowing up, no pun intended, because people started texting me about a possible shooting situation, active shooter in Williston High School. So I call super producer Chris Larson. I'm like, hey, Chris, here's what's going on. What are you hearing? He goes, yeah, I heard the same thing going on in Jamestown, Red River, posted something on social media about it. Next thing you know, people are like, yeah, same thing happened at Davie. Same thing happened here. Same thing happened in West Fargo. So obviously very, very bizarre. At this point, as far as we know, all these are false flags. Thank God. But for all of it to happen on the same day, and apparently it's been happening regionally as well. Well, since early today, super producer Chris Larson has been on the story, been making some phone calls and trying to get to the bottom of what exactly is going on. So he's got an update for us now. Chris, what do you have for us, sir?
Hey, thanks, Chris. Let's take you through the timeline of what we started to hear. At 10:16 this morning, we got word that Red River Regional Dispatch got a swatting call targeting West Fargo High School. The school resource officer assigned to the district, along with additional personnel, responded quickly and after a thorough investigation deemed the threat to be a hoax. So what these are calls that are coming into dispatch saying that there's an active threat going on or something active happening at the school district. Then from that, approximately 8 minutes later, Grand Forks authorities got a call to the dispatch center there saying that there was an active shooter at Red River High School. The difference between that and the first call from West Fargo is this caller stated that there were multiple people injured. Officers with the Grand Forks Police Department, the Grand Forks County Sheriff's Office, they were all dispatched and immediately began checking the school grounds. The first responding officer was the school resource officer. He was actually on scene at the time of the call. And the police department, I spoke to Lieutenant Andrew Stein this afternoon, and basically where they're at now is they're in the investigation phase. He did say that if somebody, they were to track down somebody that did this, they could be facing charges due to the incident, but that incident is still ongoing. Just before 11 this morning, Jamestown Public Schools locked down, and I spoke to Superintendent Rob Leck just after the noon hour that the Jamestown High School and then all other buildings in that district were locked down, and I quote, out of an abundance of caution. By about 12:25, the only school that was locked down still in Jamestown was the Jamestown High School. I haven't had an update on that this afternoon. Watford City, we also heard word, Chris, that Watford City had one of these calls. And what we learned from their school administration is that at approximately 11:30, law enforcement responded for a hoax call of an active threat at Watford City High School. They went into a hold, but it was quickly determined there was no threat to the school at that time. And then, of course, as you alluded to, Chris, Williston also hearing something right at about 11:35 there as well. And then we did learn later this afternoon that Fargo Public Schools was informed of some calls coming into their dispatch center about active shooter situations, specifically there from Fargo Davies High School. So all of this happening in relatively, 3 or 4 hours worth of time. And it's crazy. So I did a little looking into it, Chris, and other reports were at Bismarck, Sioux Falls, Mitchell, and Brookings, South Dakota, all happening today.
And then I know you also reached out to Superintendent of Public Instruction, Kirsten Baszler. She put out a statement. What can you share with us from that? You don't need the whole thing, but just kind of give us the highlights.
Yeah, so Superintendent of Public Instruction Baszler sent out a statement that read, in part, "It's unfortunate that someone would call in a hoax of this nature, but it's reassuring that our school officials, law enforcement, and other first responders were prepared with such a quick and comprehensive response to keep our students and our educators safe." And we did talk to Attorney General Drew Wrigley this morning as well. He was going to be monitoring this situation very closely. So straight from the local authorities up to statewide official, everyone has their eyes on this happening today.
Obviously, very bizarre situation. Would love to know your point of view. Multiple active shooter phone calls coming in, and praise God, at least up to this point, as far as we know, all of them false phone calls, if you will. If you want to text into the show, we got a new text line here. So if you want to call, or I should say text into the show, it might be easier for you to do. It keeps you anonymous. No one's going to know your voice. It's 701-203-2260. Again, 701-203-2260. You can also call in too if you maybe have some more information or some details. 701-271-1100. 701-271-1100. But just a really interesting scenario here. Now, one of the things that I've been hearing, again, this is all just speculation from people, but a couple people that I was texting with today say, hey, some of the people think this might be in regards to, obviously, the Alex Jones situation that came down, him having to pay $1 billion to the parents. Also, Tammy saying here, today was the sentencing for the Parkland shooter. So we're not saying there's any correlation or causation, but obviously, it's happening on the same time. Tammy also says that Jamestown is cleared, found to be an invalid threat and or hoax. So to have that many within North Dakota communities, obviously just very, very strange and rare. Now, this is a real story. So we talked about what happened here, potentially with these active school shooters. And super producer Chris Larson, thank you for that update and that insight. I know you spent a lot of good time on getting some details on what exactly is happening here. This is a real story. In Williston right now, more than 1,000 pounds of explosive materials were found inside a Williston residence. 1,000 pounds of explosive materials was found inside a Williston residence. The bomb squads had to come in, get this stuff out of there. Apparently now, I spoke to Sean Winko earlier today, and he said, yeah, Chris, they're now taking all this explosives and they're going outside of town and obviously igniting it. And he's like, it's unbelievable. The big booms that are coming just outside of town, because 1,000 pounds, 1,000 pounds of explosives found inside a Williston residence. Wow. All right. I want to move on to this. And it's interesting. When I went to Lisbon was it Sunday? Sunday, I was in Lisbon. Time is just flying by. I was in Lisbon on Sunday, had a chance to visit with District 24 there, and I told a little story about somebody that's a good friend of mine, very, very successful business person, and he was sharing with me how him and his wife right now, they've just they've never felt more helpless. I don't want to say hopeless, but definitely helpless as citizens of the United States of America. Like they just feel like, Chris, the country is just crumbling and we don't know what to do. And I talk to a lot of people, and I'm presuming you're like me, you feel very much the same way. We're like, gosh, things just don't feel right, and I just don't know what to do to correct them. I bring all that up because I want to share with you the power of your voice. I know sometimes you can feel almost like this sense of what's called learned helplessness. Like, gosh, does it really make a difference if I do anything? I don't know if it's going to matter. And if you don't know learned helplessness, look it up. It's an amazing phenomenon where I guess I'm going to give you a quick example of it to really show you the power of what you can do. Learned helplessness is this thing that people develop where they feel like no matter what they do, it's not going to make a difference. And the prime example that they always use is they talk about if you took a fly and you put a fly in a jar and you put a cover on it, that fly is obviously going to try to get out of the jar, 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 until at one point it realizes no matter what it does, it can't get out of the jar. So you can actually lift the cover off the jar, leave the jar alone, leave it completely open, and guess what? The fly is still in there because of what's called learned helplessness. Many of us are probably experiencing that today. Well, you may remember a while back, the Elks put on that all ages drag show. And there were some mama bears that were like, wait a second, why is the Elks putting on an all ages drag show? Like, what's happening over there? So a mama bear, in fact, I'm going to read you a little bit of the story, and then I'll share with you what was posted today on Facebook by Scarlet Vision Productions. They put on a lot of these all ages drag shows. So somebody emailed me and they said, hey, in a nutshell, here's a little bit of the backstory. This person ended up emailing the Grand Secretary of the National Elks. That ultimately led to the halting of the drag show for kids and now even adults here in Fargo. Person says this: I was very upset about the recent drag show for kids at the Fargo Elks. I heard Cassie Schmidt on the Chris Berg show discussing the Cray. Remember when Cray was going to have their drag show for kids? And then what we needed to do to stand up and speak out against these attacks on our children. She says, I was so inspired to take some type of action regarding the Elks, but I didn't know what action to take at the time. After considering some options, I thought it'd be a good idea to reach out to the National Elks to let them know what is happening in one of their lodges, to see if this is really in alignment with their missions and goals for their fraternal organization. I thought, hey, you know what? I'll email your guys' show. You guys can email them. The media is going to have more clout than I will. If you guys email the National Elks, that'll put a stop to this. Well, Chris and I got super busy, didn't get a chance to email the National Elks. So this mama bear says, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to empower myself to email the Grand Poobah, the Grand Secretary of the National Elks. So she goes on to say, last week I asked myself why I was not emailing the Grand Secretary. And so I did. And as you can see by the emails, I wrote from the heart and tried my best to represent the concerns of our group. It's amazing how God works. You didn't email the Elks, and now I know that I needed to be the one to do the email, not the media. So this person emailed the Grand Secretary, the Grand Poobah of the National Elks Organization, because they were putting on all kids drag shows here in Fargo. Then today, Scarlet Vision Productions posted this on Facebook. We received word on Wednesday, October 12th, that all ages shows have been pulled from the Elks Lodge. Mama Bears, guess what? You are winning. Goes on to say this was not the doing of Kenny, apparently someone that works at the Elks, but a high-level board person. They're also aiming to take away the 18-plus shows, in other words, the adult shows in the basement they've been doing for the last 5 years. The post goes on to say, we are confused and dumbfounded as to why this is happening now. We've had our venue for a long time, and we're only trying all ages as it was requested. There's more to this post. It's up on our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Chris Berg Show, because when we come back, there is an event coming up here in the great state of North Dakota. First time ever. Never happened before. We're going to tell you what it is, why you need to be there, coming up right after this.
Your farm and business depends on a reliable source for energy. PetroServe USA is the customer-owned co-op committed to being a stable source of fuel for your equipment and propane to dry your grain. We have the capacity to make sure you never run out of fuel and to keep prices stable. Dependability, competitive prices, and exemplary service. That's PetroServe USA, helping America fuel better.
PetroServe USA.
Call today.
Focused on ag, focused on you.
Do you have money in the bank or the stock market? Do you check the balance often? Why wouldn't you do the same for your biggest asset, your home? If you want to know right now what you could sell your home for in this hot market, go to FargoHomeValues.com. Type in any address and find out instantly. You might be surprised how much you could get for your home. Again, that website is FargoHomeValues.com, or call me, John Nosala, for a personal valuation. Find out more at jkpropertypartners.com.
Not scary. This haunted house is boring. Dude, chainsaw murderers are so 1980s.
This Halloween, nothing is as scary as a leaky roof right before winter. So get your roof redone as soon as possible before it gives you eternal nightmares.
Visit FargoRoofing.com to schedule your roof replacement today. By the way, dude, you totally scream like your girl.
Fargo Roofing is siding.
The reviews are in. My coffee is a big hit. People absolutely love it. One of our listeners said, Scott, I've sampled a lot of coffee, but this one's different. It's rich, but also very smooth, low acidity. The finish is clean, and it has a pleasant aftertaste. Try some for yourself today. Go to mystore.com. Use the promo code Scott for up to 25% off. Your choices include whole bean, ground, coffee pods, light roast, medium roast, dark roast, and a decaf. Again, in coffee pods, ground, or whole bean, your choice. And guess what? It's roasted and packed right here in the USA. It's guaranteed, like all the products at MyPillow. Mike Lindell invites you to try his new product, My Coffee, by going to mystore.com. Mystore.com. Use the promo code Scott or call this number, 800-506-9028. 800-506-9028 or mystore.com, promo code Scott for the best coffee you've ever had, bar none.
I'm David Chapman. I'm a candidate for judge. For 25 years, I've enjoyed tremendous success in our community, but it is time to give back. I love freedom, our country, and our Constitution. If elected, I will enforce the law as it is written, not as I wish it were written. I invite you to visit Chapman for Judge on Facebook, and I would be honored to serve.
Paid for by David Chapman.
Where I'm from, I was from Canada. Better bless me, color sun.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. Coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America fuel better. As you're out and about today, maybe driving home from work, please stop into your local PetroServe USA, grab some gas, and of course some goodies. They always have great deals on great food there, so jump on in and fill up, or maybe grab some snacks for the way home for after dinner. A lot of great feedback coming on the live stream, thanks to Cirrus out of Fargo as well. We want to tell you about the power of your voice, the difference that you can make. A woman that's been doing a great job standing up for freedom here within our community, Cassie Schmidt, Executive Director of Let Parents Decide That. Also joining us via phone, we've got Amber Babetto. She is with ndcan.org, ndcan.org. She's putting on the big event this weekend in Bismarck. It's the first ever Gender Theories Impact on Society event. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. But Cassie, always great to see you. Thank you for coming in studio. And you and I spoke after the Cave canceled the event.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you said to me? The kind of fun line?
I don't.
Courage is contagious.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes, it is.
And you did it again.
Well, you know, I can't take too much credit. I am
Yes, you can.
Oh,
It's
Chris,
in Jen's email.
It's
in a person's email.
I'm so excited about this. I have to tell you. So when we were talking last, we had some parents, some local parents, right, that have been also concerned with these issues for these drag shows for kids. that we've been having in our pop up in our area. You know, we have to get really clear on our language here. These are not all ages. These are directed at children, and they're events that kids should not be a part of, right? So this is touching a lot of hearts locally, and we had some parents that were concerned and that were really kind of organizing behind the scenes and completely separate of me, right? And they had heard our interview and reached out because they thought, wow, like there's other people that believe the same as we do, that are looking to, you know, get the same things done. And so they reached out, and just through some encouragement, they actually did all the work, Chris, and I'll have to give it to them. They have started a group. It's called Guard Don't Groom, and it's on Instagram. And they have some video that's from the last event that was at the Elk Show, and they reached out to the I don't even know what his
Grand
title is.
Secretary.
He's the head guy of the Elks nationally, and just said, "Hey, are you even aware of what's happening at your venues?" And you know, we have these videos, and we're getting some national attention on this, and we just want to see what your take is. What do you think? Because this kind of seems to us like it's going against your core values and your mission statement. And that's all it took. They needed a light shed on what was happening. And it didn't take, you know, a whole army. It didn't take people getting wild. It took a couple concerned citizens that decided, instead of thinking, gosh, somebody's got to do something about this, they decided, we've got to do something about this. And how amazing is that when you really think about it? Instead of having that mindset, like the work belongs to somebody else, we can all get to work. There's something that we can all do. These things start with such a tiny little bit of action that really start. And I think of it like every storm starts with one raindrop, right? Every flood started with one little raindrop. All it takes is just one person to get started. It took somebody finding the courage, right? That they took a little from somebody else, and it just explodes. And look at what kind of work we can get done. I'm just so excited.
Courage is contagious, but I love how you framed it, where you said, you know, Chris, it didn't take a protest. It didn't take somebody, as we've seen out in the East Coast, firebombing a place. It was a
No.
very heartfelt, genuine, respectful, peaceful email. It said, hey, you know, this is just some thoughts.
Yeah.
Have you thought about this? Have you considered this? And now, not only are they getting rid of the kids drag show, but even the 18 plus are going to get taken out of
Hopefully.
the basement. So
Yeah.
Amber Beddoes joining us. She's go to ndcan.org. Again, ndcan.org. She's put on the first ever Gender Theories Impact on Society event. We had Alex Newman on earlier this week. Was phenomenal guest. Amber, we'll talk about the event in a moment, but I first just want to get your reaction to the fact that, hey, here's a mama bear taking a stand, doing the right thing, peacefully, heartfelt, genuinely, and making a difference. What say you?
Well, first of all, hey guys, thanks for having me on your show, Chris. I am really excited too. I'm like Cassie, like it just takes one person saying what's true, and that can give someone else courage. And it really doesn't take much more than just speaking truth respectfully to move mountains sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to know that, hey, you can do it. Anybody can show up and make a difference. So with that being said, I know that you're getting a lot of conversation or communication, let's say, about your event coming up on Saturday. Why don't you set the record straight and tell people what was on your heart to do this event? Why should people take time out of their busy schedules to come out to Bismarck and hear what is happening on Saturday?
Yeah, so this conference is going to cover how the transgender movement, the transgender ideology is impacting every area of our society, and it's impacting it quite negatively. We're going to talk about education and medicine and law, how this is affecting sex-based rights and parental rights. And really the heart behind this conference is just protecting our kids, the next generation. It really is horrific what is happening in these gender clinics and in education as well. These kids are being politically and sexually groomed. And so we just want to shine as much light on this subject as possible. We want this to be the beginning of a conversation, because I do think that people are intimidated by this conversation. They don't really want to talk about it because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And that is not our aim. We do not want to hurt anyone's feelings either, or encourage bad feelings towards anyone, but we really just think that the kindest thing that you can do for someone is to tell them the truth. And so we are going to be bringing in 5 amazing speakers, and their presentations are going to just give clarity on this issue, and also a little bit of courage. And you're going to leave with some action steps.
If you want to find out more, go to ndcan.org, and it's ndcan.org. I'm going to give you each a last word here in a moment. Before I do, our producer here, John, text me this, which I think you're both going to appreciate, because Amber, you just kind of wrapped up with this word, and this is how we started this conversation. Cassie, it says this. This is according to Morgan Freeman. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Go for it.
Courage is the key to life itself.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give you each about 60 seconds. Last word, Cassie.
Okay, I've got 2 things real quick. Speaking on Amber's point, sometimes love, affirmation is not love. Okay. Truth is love, period. Truth is always love. We have to stick to truth always. And secondly, I just want to remind everybody that even if you think that you're maybe going to be the millionth person to make a call to your local mayor or your city councilman or your school board member or whatever, you think, gosh, they must have been just hearing it. My voice probably isn't going to make a difference. Make that call, because you might have been the first one, and you might be starting the fire in somebody else when you can tell them what work you just tried to do on everyone's behalf, and that can light a fire in the next person. So it really just takes one.
And you never know which hack of the axe is going to chop down the tree. It might be the 100th, might be the first, might be the millionth.
Yep.
Amber, 60 seconds. Last word, please.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Cassie just said. And I really want to encourage people to come to the conference this Saturday if they can. I think that it's going to be extremely helpful, and just provide, like I said, clarity on a purposely confusing issue. And they're going to leave with some action steps to take. Everyone can do something, and sometimes it really is just as simple as educating yourself, and then just speaking truth with love and kindness to the people in your life. So just come register today if you can, ndcan.org.
ndcan.org. Speaking the truth in love. I think that's from a good book from Ephesians. Cassie Schmidt, Executive Director of Let Parents Decide That. Amber Babetta with NDCan. To both of you, thanks so much for the time, and good luck on Saturday, Amber. And Cassie, it was great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, stay with us when we come back. They're kicking off something. It's new to us. Maybe not new to you, but it's going to be new to us. Very special guest is going to share with you more about what that is and the impact it could have on you and your potentially finances. Also, want to remind you, if you want to email into the show, very easy to do. You can do it by emailing us studio@chrisbergshow.com. Want to say thank you to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. Go check them out at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Teresa there. They're having their, I think it's Tough Love event right now. Speaking of love, she'll tell you the truth about, hey, here's what you need to do to take care of your beautiful Red Wing shoe boots. 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo.
Mostly cloudy and blustery for this evening. We're looking at temperatures remaining in the 40s and then slowly sliding off into the 30s. Overnight, we'll see snow showers developing, moving in from the north as we drop down to a low near 30. Northwest winds around 10 to 20. And those snow showers continue into Friday with highs into the low to mid 40s. As we head into the weekend, we should dry things out, but still chilly with highs only in the 40s. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
Hi, this is Jake Dahl with OnSharp. I'm here with one of our clients, Nell T. Campy of Find Equine. Nell, can you tell us about what the Find Equine app does?
The premise of the app is to give people a place to buy and sell their horses.
How was the experience working with OnSharp?
Without your encouragement, I would not have the app that I have today. You gave me the confidence to push through and actually make this project happen.
Are you happy with how the app turned out?
I'm thrilled with how the app turned out. It exceeded my expectations. I had a vision for it, and it is 10 times better than even the vision that I imagined.
Would you recommend OnSharp to other companies in need of app development?
Oh, 100%. There's a lot of companies out there, but it's really the people that you need to work with that makes or breaks it.
Thank you, Nell. We highly encourage everyone to check out the Find Equine app. And if your business is in need of custom app development, you can learn more at onsharp.com/apps.
Not all real estate is the same. Jose Investments deals with exactly what you need. Are you looking to move into a building or buildings needing to warehouse your product? Maybe your company needs more space or another space for distribution. Some companies need a space specifically for manufacturing. See how these differ? Jose Investments knows the buyers and the sellers and can finish the deal you need to grow. Are you a buyer or a seller? Jose Investments is the company that specializes in these properties. Call Scott at Jose Investments today.
Hi, Lacey here with Precision Concrete Cutters. You've heard our ads about egress windows. They add sunlight, they provide an escape and add value to your home. All true, but I'd like to let you in on a little secret. You can add an egress window anywhere, even if there's no existing window. I know this because at Precision Concrete Cutters, we specialize in egress window installation and replacement. Precision Concrete Cutters, 701-280-7038. That's 280-7038.
Been looking for a golf cart for the lake, cabin, or the course? Largest selection of Club Car Onward golf carts within 150 miles is available at All Season Motorsports. 0% financing. That's 0% financing for up to 36 months on 2022 and 23 Club Car golf carts. All inventory must go. Largest selection of club cars at 0% financing. All Season Motorsports off I-94 and Cheyenne Street, West Fargo. Hurry before they're gone.
Brian Feuder with the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program.
NDSCS's apprenticeship program is really based on the typical apprenticeship models that have been in existence for many years. But currently there are over 1,000 apprenticeable occupations that are recognized by the United States Department of Labor.
Hi, I'm Jixie Bope. I'm the Director of Nursing at Four Seasons Healthcare Center. I encourage other companies to use the NDSCS apprenticeship program. They have a personal relationship with you. They help you out with advertising. They help bringing in new candidates, interviews, getting the word out.
Hi, my name is Pamela Morrow, Project Specialist for NDSCS Apprenticeship. If you're interested in a program, please reach out today by calling 701-231-6927 or go online to ndscs.edu/workforce-affairs and click on the Apprenticeship North Dakota tab.
See if the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program is for you.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show. This is your daily dose of truth to help set you free. I love Thursday because we get to talk about the wonderful city of Williston. It's our Williston Economic Development Update with our good friend, Sean Wenko. Sean, welcome back to the great state of North Dakota. How are you, my friend?
It's good to be back. Doing good. You know, shout out to Amber Vibeto on the show. We go way back, old high school friends.
That's right.
Great to see her. Yeah, it's great to see she's doing over there in Minot. So excellent. Shout out to her.
Here's another excellent shout out to Sean Wenko. Oh, I love that song. I'm not even an Eagles fan. I love that song.
Well, it was chanted a lot in Arizona on Sunday. I'll tell you that. It was a little chaotic. So it's good to see you win.
We're undefeated, man. It's just unbelievable to me. So, you and I had a chance to spend some time. By the way, we haven't had a chance to really visit on air since the event on Friday. I know we want to talk about your great podcast, Williston Works. Before we do, I just want to say, number one, thank you, and give you a chance to share with people back here the event that you put on that is like the Oscars for entrepreneurs. You celebrate entrepreneurs. I mean, you told me, hey, Chris, it's a good event. Check it out. You know, and I was absolutely blown away. And I don't think entrepreneurs get enough credit. I mean, they're putting their names on the front of checks, payroll. I just had to say thank you. An incredible job, man.
Well, I appreciate for you coming out, and you did a great job, being the MC for the evening there. And again, I mean, it's just a night, just like I told you, it's that night that we want to celebrate the entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but nobody else is doing that, at least that I'm aware of. Not the way you guys do it.
We maybe do it a little bit over the top, but again, we thank our sponsors it's the sponsors that help put it together. And if you've never been to our awards banquet, you want to at least check it out online because it's something that we look forward to every year.
I would agree with you about checking it out online. Other than whoever served up the filet mignon, like go live, because the filet was amazing. Who gave us the filet that night?
So that was catered by a restaurant here called the River's Edge. And, we try to stay with them every year because the food is that good and they do such a tremendous job. And shout out to those guys because we got more comments on that filet than we've heard in a long time. And it was good.
I mean, I'm going to ask you, what was the name of the place again? I'm sorry, Rivers what?
It's called the River's Edge. And again, Edge. that was a business that we had worked with as well, that the Star Fund worked with. And it's changed ownership a couple different times, but it's still, the service coming out of there is just awesome. And the food is excellent.
We need to start like an Omaha Steaks branch of the River's Edge where they do direct mail with the fillets because it was it was that good. So if that's not in their business plan, let me know and we'll adapt that. Okay. All right. Let's talk about your fantastic Williston Works podcast. You're in season 5 already. You're like friends. I mean, you just keep knocking out seasons. So what's happening coming up?
So the Williston Works podcast, I have to go back, let's go back several years and really credit to the ladies in my office because they had pushed this podcast concept for a long time. And I was kind of slow to react to it. I just didn't know what we would get from it. And I didn't know if it would be successful, but, I gave in, I said, let's try it for one season. The premise behind it is we reach out to entrepreneurs that we've worked with. We have a one-on-one conversation, usually about 20, 25 minutes, just talking about some of the challenges that they've seen, recommendations they may have for other entrepreneurs out there. Lo and behold, we just kicked off season 5, been doing this for 5 years now. We won a Mid-America Economic Development Award for the Williston Works podcast. What? And it has been probably one of the most successful programs that we've done out here in terms of getting the word out to help entrepreneurs and developers looking at this area.
So what do you have coming up by episode 1? When does it release? How can people watch it?
Yep. So you're going to see tomorrow just on our social media channels. So you'll find it across the board on the Facebook and the Instagrams out there. We'll have it up on our YouTube page shortly as well. Again, beginning tomorrow. Episode 1, what we started this actually around season 3, is a lot of the developers and the investors were asking questions about departments that maybe are within the city that would affect development. So what is that? We've had interviews with engineering. We've had interviews with the airport. And the big one coming up that you're going to see, episode 1, coming out tomorrow, it's a one-on-one with our fire chief, talking a little bit about public safety in the area, how they've addressed some of the growth, what they're expecting, especially when you and I were talking about these big projects that are happening west of town. Billions. You got $10 billion in projects potentially, and they're unique projects that they're not something you're just going to be able to put a little bit of water on if you've got problems out there. So they're going to be talking about these things and how they plan for it and where they're going into the future with the fire department.
Speaking about the big project, and if you're just joining us, our Williston Economic Development Update with Executive Director Sean Wenko. And Sean, there was a gas to liquids project taking place just outside Williston, $2.8 billion. And I said to you, maybe somewhat in jest, maybe in reality, I said, gosh, if I walked up to 10 people right now in Fargo and said, hey, did you know about X? They'd probably look at me like I was from another planet. Just tell us briefly, what's the company? What's this project?
Yeah. So, the company name is Sarillon, and they're a Canadian-based firm, and they're doing a gas to liquids facility. It's happening west of town. Again, what we're seeing is, this company is one of many that has been looking into the area to capture some of the byproduct of the oil and gas industry. So they're going to capture some of the natural gas that's being flared off, and they're going to make value out of it. Potentially, you're going to see the potential for low-grade jet fuel and other different types of things that they can refine from this natural gas. So it's just one of several projects. This one is really moving forward. I mean, they've got a couple of years now of due diligence, kind of poking around in the dirt and making sure everything is kosher and everything's going to work. And from there, it's really spinning off, a lot of other projects looking at this area. So again, when we talk about the oil and gas byproduct, that's kind of boom point 2.0 for us, as we're seeing these companies coming in trying to take advantage of that.
2.8 billion is just phase one as well, correct?
Right, correct.
Yeah.
They're looking at multiple phases. So I throw around, it's just funny. I have to catch myself sometimes. We throw around, this $1 billion mark almost like it's nothing. And I have to tell you, I had to catch myself the other day. We were talking about something, a project was being held up, and there was kind of a discrepancy of $1 million. And I said, we're not talking a lot of money here, guys. We're talking $1 million, and it is a lot of money. But I'm telling you, we're dealing with $1 billion projects. You got to catch yourself sometimes.
All right, I want to play a quick clip from your podcast because this also is coming up on the ballot. You asked the fire chief about this. Here's a quick clip from the upcoming, comes out tomorrow, Williston Works podcast.
Touch a bit on the public safety tax. What is that?
So the public safety tax was introduced on the ballot in 2014 and was approved. And what that does is it was a 1% sales tax increase for our area, for the Williams County. It's split 50-50 between the city and the other 50% with the county itself. And it provides supplemental capital and operational expenses for our department, the Williams County Sheriff's Office, Emergency Management, Williams County Regional Dispatch Center, Williston PD. It's anything to do with emergency services in our county. It provides supplemental funding for those entities.
So Sean, that's coming up on the November ballot. Anything else you want to add or share there?
No, the big thing, like I said, Matt, the chief there, hits on it pretty good. Again, this is a Williams County thing. So there's 18 different emergency services or public safety entities that are affected by this, and a lot of this, that public safety tax, it goes back to when we were booming so hard out here. We always were playing a lot of defense. And, that gave us a great opportunity to kind of play on offense for a while and get ahead of the game. So I think one of the biggest changes you're seeing on that public safety tax when it's coming up for vote is they're going to expand it to kind of help with behavioral health services as well. We all know mental health is becoming such a big issue that, that could be a welcome addition to that public safety sales tax, and a welcome addition to Western North Dakota, or Williams County, I should say.
Sean, I got about 30 seconds. I mean, I'm looking at your studio for the people that are watching on the stream, like, beautiful setting. Give a shout out to where you shot this and who produced your podcast.
Yeah, so again, that's the studio in there. That's Busted Knuckle Brewery. That was an economic development project as well. It was the first actual brewery, beer brewery that we were able to bring into Williston. They let us kind of set up and film after hours in there. So thanks to Ben and Connie and Jake and Emma Borison for there. And then big shout out to the Creative Treatment, Matt Fern and his company. They're out of Bismarck. They've been doing the videos for us for probably going on 10 years now. You saw them at the awards banquet as well, and a lot of the opening videos they put together too.
He's awesome. So again, Sean Winko, Economic Development Director, Williston Economic Development. It's WillistonDevelopment.com. WillistonDevelopment.com. Sean, we appreciate it, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you later, Chris.
All right, stay with us when we come back. We got a really interesting clip for you. Plus, the numbers came out today, and they are hitting your pocketbook in a big, big way. We'll talk about that right after this.
Harvest season is a busy one in the Red River Valley, with farmers working on harvesting their crops and with kids back in school. Cass County Farm Bureau would like to remind you to take extra time to ensure everyone stays safe, whether working on harvest or transporting kids to or from school. Keep alert so no one gets hurt. supporting safety on the air because they care. From your friends at Cass County Farm Bureau.
As kids, we hear it all the time. We do it because we love you. It's called tough love.
Hi, Teresa here from the Fargo Red Wing Shoe Store. We know that you love your boots, but have a tough time showing it. Now through October 22nd, show your boots some love and receive 15% off all care items. And if you showed your boots a little too much tough love, receive $20 off a new pair. Stop into our Tough Love event now through October 22nd at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
Career politicians have pushed America to the point of no return. I'm Rick Becker running for U.S. Senate, and I aim to change that. To save America, we need to end the status quo. We need someone who will put the people ahead of special interest groups, who will stand firm against burdening our children with more debt, take down bureaucrats like Dr. Fauci, and someone who will fight against the left's crazy culture war. Vote for me for U.S. Senate, and together we will fix this mess. I'm Rick Becker, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
It's the first unlimited full-service and exterior works wash club at Don's Car Washes. You can have the best of both worlds with unlimited interior and exterior washes at the Don's on 13th Avenue and unlimited exterior washes at the Don's on 52nd Avenue. Truly unlimited washes for only $49.99 per month. Join Don's Unlimited Wash Club. Exterior unlimited washes starting as low as $19.99 per month. It's never been easier to put a smile on your car at Don's Car Washes.
Employers, does the competitive job market have you down? Now more than ever, make certain your pay and benefits are competitive, and High Road Partners can help. High Road Partners is a full-service employee benefits brokerage and HR firm serving small businesses in the region, helping you design a strategy to attract and retain talented employees, locally owned and operated. Let's succeed together. Visit highroadpartners.com today. highroadpartners.com.
There's one man on this earth who really, truly gets it.
I don't have to love any politician. I don't even have to love the Republican Party. I despise the Democrat Party. I despise what they're doing to my country. I despise what they're doing to my children and grandchildren. I despise what they're doing to my fellow citizens. I despise the crime. I despise the open borders.
Mark Levin is on the radio.
Mark Levin, weekdays at 5, only on The Flag.
21st century is yesterday. You can care all you want. Everybody does, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, the fastest hour in radio. Whoosh, time flies when you are having fun. I'm sure you saw the breaking news this morning. It always comes out at about 8:30 our time, which, by the way, tomorrow, be sure and join us. We got an incredible guest coming up on tomorrow's show. He is with the Minneapolis Federal Reserve Bank. He's the regional guy there. Going to be a fascinating conversation of, hey, what is the Fed? Why is 2% inflation so important to you? We'll dive into some really, really good stuff with him. Now, I bring all that up because this morning, the numbers came out for inflation. Still at 8.2% all items year over year. I mean, that is just, when you think about it, I mean, did you get an 8% raise this year? If your money's just sitting in the bank, you are losing roughly 8% on your money year over year. That's not good. In fact, that's horrible, especially if you've been watching the markets as of late. You know, you've probably lost a lot more than just 8% there. So the point is that it's still hot. Food came in at a total of 11.2%. Energy at 19. I mean, these numbers are atrocious. People just cannot survive at 8, 11, 19% type of inflation in those arenas. And that's where we go back to, again, not investment advice, just suggesting that whatever you're doing today, if you're thinking about, hey, where can I deploy some capital? What should I be doing? How can I get myself educated? Do yourself a favor to understand decentralized finance. Decentralized finance. I don't know if you saw what happened to Kanye West. I think it was JP Morgan Chase came out today and said, hey, Kanye, you got until November 21st to utilize our services. After that, we are stopping being your custodian, stopping being your bank because of what he recently had with his, I didn't hear it, but apparently it was an anti-Semitic rant. Point is, the bank just shut him down. You know he's going to decentralized finance. So just get yourself educated. Check out Reaper.financial. Again, that's Reaper, REAPER.financial. You can connect with Patrick Riley there, the brother of Sean Riley, the new CEO of BitZero North America. But you can talk decentralized finance. Patrick's got also a Reaper token there that may be of benefit to you. Again, not financial advice, but it's definitely worth getting yourself educated about. All right, we kicked off the show. Actually, it was the B segment, but just talking about Cassie Schmidt and Amber Babetto and how courage is contagious. Courage is contagious. And so John, one of our producers here, ended up finding a great clip of Morgan Freeman. So John, if you've got that ready to go, let's roll the tape.
Courage. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
So we're going to leave it there, but courage is the key to life itself. And how true is that statement? You got to step out of the boat. That's what faith is all about, right? Faith without works is dead. That's what's so inspiring about today's show. I hope you had a chance to hear most of today's show, but it's one of those things where, there's so much, let's just be honest, garbage happening today in the world. It's nice to be able to tune into a show, The Chris Berg Show, and listen to a segment where you're inspired and lifted up and thinking, yeah, you know what? I can do something. I can make a difference, because that's what's happening right here. You've got people, mama bears, stepping up, being courageous, because courage is contagious. Thank you, Tammy. She says, love it. Courage is contagious. And then you can step up and take action and make a difference. One mama bear got the Elks to stop these drag show for kids. Think about for a moment just how powerful that is. And here's what I mean. You and I both know it's like pouring Kool-Aid in a river, right? Some people might communicate this a different way, but once you pour that Kool-Aid in the river, you ain't getting it out. You can't unsee something. So what's happened now, because this mama bear stood up and said, no more. I'm not standing for this. This needs to stop. This must stop. Think about the impact that this mama bear has just made on generations of humans, because these young minds are no longer going to be forced to see things that they don't need to see at that age, because otherwise they can't unsee it. Once it's put into that consciousness, you cannot take it out. That's why it's so important, and I hope many of you are understanding this right now today with the news and everything else going on, but be hyper vigilant, hyper conscious about what you're putting into your consciousness. Just be diligent about it. You know what that means for you. I don't know what that means for you. I know what it means for me. But be hyper vigilant about what it is you are putting inside to your consciousness. In other words, what are you seeing? What are you hearing on a consistent basis? And if it's not of righteousness, if not of the right things, then don't do it. We need to restore righteousness in this nation. So one way to do that is to do the right thing, to take in more things that are right, righteous. It's pretty simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's pretty simple. Got a lot of great comments coming in. Protect North Dakota Kid says, let's go. Praise the Lord. Tammy also says this. Hey, I highly recommend for those that are fed up with the direction of our country, go attend the Candace Owens event in Fargo on Monday night. Again, Monday night, NDSU, Candace Owens, 7 p.m. She's been all over the news of late. She's got a new documentary out about Black Lives Matter. Sounds very, very interesting. So she will touch on that on Monday night. This is the Chris Berg Show. Again, tomorrow, Regional Director from the Federal Reserve. Going to be amazing, amazing show. Join us tomorrow here at 4 p.m.